Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show, Let's Talk with David Collins. And I'm very excited about this particular conversation because my guest today is one who has a lot of firsts happening in her life, and there are some interesting overlaps in our life. And so you're just going to get to enjoy our conversation as we talk about a great many things. So let's bring her on stage and invite Miss Nicole Crowley to join us. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, David. I am so grateful and so excited to be here with you.
Likewise, I gotta say, I have so enjoyed just watching your energy. We will, now that you've shared a little bit more with me about what your handle means on your socials, we'll talk about that. But it's
Okay.
Sparkle with Nicole, right? And
Yep.
people I've heard just say that you do sparkle, and it's so true. You do. Like you just
Aw.
radiate. Your energy is so bright. Nicole and I met through a company that we are working together and building in the world, lumivitae. And so I've had a chance to see her engage online and amongst the community, and her energy is truly like it sparkles. And one of the things, I mean, you had the rare honor of being the very first person to get a lumivitae bottle.
I was the very first purchase.
Yeah. The OG. So I want to hear this story. How did this happen? How did you get your order in before me? Because I felt like
You're like, oh, you're so jealous.
I was so fast. I couldn't believe that you knew you were number one. So how did that happen?
So I actually had a beautiful spiritual mentor invite me into this opportunity. And I was in Lisbon for a spiritual retreat. And that's where I got to meet Nuno Nina. I got to get my bottle, the prototype bottle. And lumivitae hadn't been co-created yet with Taryn and Nuno. I knew about the cell power bottle, but I knew, my soul knew I was meant to be in Lisbon. I met 3 specific people, my soul brothers and sisters, angels in my life.
Yep.
But that wasn't even it. It was the bigger thing of being connected to Nuno, being connected to his heart, knowing his passion, being connected to his genius. And my soul was just like, this is where I'm meant to be. Yep. So everybody knew my passion. Everybody knew how excited I was. So when the purchases were available, somebody actually reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be the first one. And I said, yes, absolutely. Done.
Yeah, I need to find out who that person is because I want to be the first. I did get to be the first to drink from the new prototype.
See, okay. So we both have things that we're jealous about.
Yeah, we do both have our OG first.
Yes.
The same as they say. Yes. When was your Lisbon trip?
That was June.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was incredible. Yeah. So much activated in me.
When did you place your order? Seriously.
I mean, I don't remember the exact date. I can look and find out for you and let you know.
I want to know because I felt like I was on the first Zoom call that Taryn did, that inner circle call, and I like placed my order like right away. I'm like, how did you get it in faster?
But yeah, this person reached out to me and was like, we're about to go live. Do you want to be the first one? I'm like, sure.
So, love that for you. Yeah. Because no one can ever take that from you.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
And nobody can ever take that you were the first one to drink from the prototype. I mean, from the new one. Even like, how incredible is that? Oh my gosh.
Even before our CEO.
How did that happen? Oh yeah, because you got it before Taryn. Oh my God.
I know. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yep. It's divine timing. It
was absolutely divine timing. I mean, my whole reason for being in Portugal, I was there in October, was very divinely orchestrated and led.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to have commitments all through October, and then suddenly my calendar cleared. Yep. And I was like, oh, I have nothing to prevent me from being able to go. And I had a lot of things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go see my best friend in Hong Kong. And then when I was actually planning my trip, they had done the water, not summit. What was the mastermind or whatever, where several of them came and were learning from Nuno in Portugal.
Yes.
I was oh, I want to be there. And so I was planning my trip to go see my best friend, and it was actually cheaper for me to book round trip.
Okay.
Not round trip, to go around the world than it was to book round trip. So I was like, well, let's just go on to Lisbon.
Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes when you just have that inner knowing, you just have to move forward and like put your feet. And I was like, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my feet in this place to say,
Yes.
I'm here, I'm committed. I hear the divine invitation. I'm saying
Yep.
yes. What does this look like?
Yes.
And just letting the pieces come together.
Yeah. And I'm actually originally from Europe. I was born in Switzerland, in Zurich. So I
Oh,
came to America when I was 10. So going to Lisbon, I mean, when the airplane landed, my heart and my soul was just like, you're home. It was just such a pull. And I didn't understand it. But until I met Nuno and until I was connected with the energy and the co-creation of what was being developed,
yep.
then everything started to come into play. And then I was just like, oh, that's why I was there. That's why it felt like home. Like, I truly feel like I was born for this. And I know it sounds so weird, but I truly believe I was born to help illuminate the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, and the company's name, lumivitae, means light of life.
Yes.
And so when you hear that phrase, what does that mean to you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have to show you a crystal because it goes with the story. Everything
Okay.
with me goes with the story.
Okay, we love a visual.
Yes. So light of life. I mean, when I think of that, I think of illumination. I think of illuminating your soul through God's essence. I think of illuminating the mind through the educational factor of, the importance of molecular hydrogen for human consumption and awakening people to what this could bring into their lives.
Yep.
I think about illuminating their cells in their body with like vitality and vigor to live life. But here's the thing. I've never been so soul connected to a crystal until I ran across this baby at a store. She holds liquid light. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. So we're looking at
it's a citrine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. With a phantom quartz in it. And then she actually has crystals that she's growing on top as well.
Wow.
But
So there's watercraft in there?
Yes.
I used to collect rocks and minerals as a kid, and I got back into that when I was during COVID lockdowns. I was so depressed because I couldn't travel, and I am a regular traveler. So I just rented a car and hit the road for 3 weeks. I didn't know it was going to be 3 weeks. I was just like, hey, we're going to do this thing, and off we go.
Yeah.
And I kept passing these rock shops that were, what we used to stop at on our family vacations. And I was like, you know what? Let's just reconnect to this passion that I had as a kid.
Me
and
too.
I came
Yeah.
back with like my rental car loaded down with these gorgeous specimen.
Oh, amazing.
Play-worthy pieces. Yeah. So as a kid, I was obsessed with geodes.
Yes.
And geodes formed by water being trapped on the inside. So that's what I thought you were going to be pulling up and showing.
Oh, okay. I have a lot of geodes, but that's not it. This is the one that was like pulling to my soul. But even as a child, I collected crystals just because they were pretty. But now I'm a sachem healer and I actually work with crystals in my healing practice.
Nice.
And it's just so crazy to me that I was just like, oh my gosh, as a child, I was drawn to it. But now I understand the importance, the significance, the knowledge that it holds, that when you connect to it, it awakens within you. Like it's so incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. The vibrations of the earth we're connected to, and they do have an impact on us. And so it's, as I was looking at specimens on my vacation, I was actually looking for ones that reflected the most light. I was looking for the ones that really sparkle. Like, I don't just want it to be dull and sit there. I want that when I move and when the light moves across it, that it captures my attention, that it's, revealing at itself. And so.
So what does light of life mean to you? I need to know. You asked me, I'm going to ask you.
For me, with my faith background, that harkens to Christ and Christ in us being the light of the world. And if we're going to make the world a brighter place, it will only happen through us, through people. Like the sun is as bright as it's going to get. If anything, stars will dim, right? But the world's light will increase only through us. Yeah. And so our ability to, as you said, free our bodies to radiate what they're supposed to. When our health is diminished, our light's diminished. You see it across the board, whether it's because they're in pain or just their organs are clogged and their energetics are low. And when somebody's body gets clean, you see their countenance lighten, you see burdens lift, you see things that seem stuck in their emotions suddenly start to pass. So the health body, the physical body, is an essential piece of increasing the light in the world. Yeah. And then, of course, I care very deeply about the heart space in people, and the wounds and traumas and emotions and burdens and cares and passions that light people up. I mean, I like to do life and career coaching, and I like to call it heart coaching because that's the piece of the person I'm most interested in. because
Yeah.
within the heart space, somebody will light up about something that they are passionate about. And to
Yes.
me, as beautiful as crystals are, there's nothing more beautiful than somebody who's truly alive and passionate about the thing that they're doing. When their heart is alive and
Yeah.
full and generous and bright, there's nothing more beautiful. And it's
Absolutely.
so unique to each person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how sparkle was to me for so long. And then it's really transitioned into illuminate. Like it was
Okay.
sparkle for so many years, spread positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, love everywhere, which it still is. But now it's just become more aware to me that it's this full illumination of
Yep.
every single aspect of being. And when you're talking about the heart, so I work with 5-element theory as an emotion resonance clearing practitioner. And the heart is connected to the fire element. And that's knowing your true authentic self and being able to vibrate yourself into the world with true authenticity in every single moment. It's so powerful. And it completely ignites from love from the
Absolutely.
heart. So yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it has to start with love, because you're never authentic when you're living for love. You're only authentic when you're living from love.
Yeah.
And most people aren't. They don't really know that they're deeply loved, and their soul hasn't really experienced that. And so they're still in a performative kind of, life expression. And it's never its fullest authenticity.
Yeah,
So
I'm actually developing. So it's a deeper dive. It's called the Philosopher's Stone, but I'm developing a Philosopher's Stone that's all around unconditional love, helping you step into true authenticity that helps you step into infinite reality. So hopefully I'll be launching that in about 6 months. It's a whole new branch of emotional resonance clearing. It's gonna be really cool.
And not at all connected to the Harry Potter series.
No, but I love Harry Potter.
I do too. I'm actually reading them for the first time right now. One of my best friends is obsessed, and she is so passionate. She's like, there's so much in it that you need to experience. You need to read them. And so she's like plotted out a year-long commitment. So we're reading certain books, certain months.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
We will discuss.
Yeah.
So this last month was Philosopher's Stone. This month I'm reading Chamber of Secrets.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. There are already things that were not in the movies, so I'm enjoying the rediscovery.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I might have to. I've never read the series. I've seen the movies, so maybe I'm going to have to read the series.
And the movies were great, so I felt pretty content. She was like, "No, you need to do this." Okay, so we're doing it.
Has she been in the Harry Potter world? The thing is it Universal Studios or something?
I don't think so. I have, because the best friend I was visiting in Hong Kong worked at theme parks in Hong Kong and Paris and Orlando or whatever. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, I visited Harry Potter World with them.
Oh, that's so cool. So fun. Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's magical. And so I look forward to your magical course coming out in 6 months.
Yes.
And for those who didn't pick up on it, Sparkle is that acronym that she just outlined. So spread positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, love everywhere.
Yes.
Only had to hear it twice. That's amazing. So, when we talk about authentic passions, there's a favorite story I love to tell of in college. I had a roommate, and he literally was sitting down to do his homework one night, and he was an accounting major. I could not have done it.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to do my homework. It's like eating ice cream." And I was like, I literally laid my head on my pillow that night, and I said a prayer to God. I said, "Thank you so much for the beautiful uniqueness that you put in each one of us, because the fact that he loves it means that I don't have to, and I can stay in my lane, and I can stay in my gifts, and he can stay in his lane, and he can use his gifts, and we're all better for it."
Yep. It's so true. Absolutely. And I was one of those children that demanded extra homework and went to Kumon, the mathematics center, because I was so bored with the normal mathematics. Okay. That was me.
Love it. Okay. So you were the overachiever. So you were the Hermione Granger of your.
Yes, I was the little Miss Perfectionist. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Has that carried through?
It has, but I'm very grateful because there was a lot of trauma that was triggering it. So becoming an emotion resonance clearing practitioner, I was able to really clear a lot of the trauma that made me feel like I had to be perfect in order to feel worthy of love. Yep. So now I allow myself to be completely myself, and it's so freeing. It's so freeing. But the love of science, the love of math, the love of continuing education is still there.
Okay. Math, science. Oh, so you're really getting off on the science piece of lumivitae.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I studied human nutrition in college.
Okay, so that makes sense
For a
because
little bit. I didn't go full college experience because of some life things.
but this wasn't all new to you because
No.
like when I watched your unboxing video and you're listing off all of that science stuff, I was like, I mean, I've heard some things, but she is like knocking it
Thank you.
out,
Yeah.
and it was clear, and you were like, clearly, this is not her first time putting these words together.
Yes. Yeah. I do remember a little bit of that. What's
Yeah.
interesting though is so my first major in college was mass communication performance journalism, and I wanted to be a TV news anchor. And then, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was an OICOM major, so it's all things communication. Yeah.
Okay. And then I moved to Chicago and I started modeling.
Okay.
And then I realized like it's just not for me. So I got a full-time job and I just modeled part-time. But then I got hit by a drunk driver. So I got hit by a drunk driver 21 years ago. And I was in rehab for my back for 4.5 years. I was in chronic pain for 16 years. It was during that time that I went back to college and studied human nutrition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then my back started actually showing some improvement. And that's when I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Chicago. I'm going back to my modeling career. It's just like you said, like when there is that pain in the body, when there is that lack of vitality in the body, you can completely see it. So I tried to get back into modeling, but it was like you could see the pain in my eyes.
Yep.
And it hurt for me to even hold a pose. Like I couldn't lift my right arm for 3 years. Like it was just, yeah. So
yeah. How long did you model?
So I actually started when I was 12 for a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
And then I signed with an agency, Avant-Garde, in Chicago when I was 18.
Okay.
And then I just dabbled in it a little bit. Hawaiian Tropics Girl, different things like that, some fashion shows. And then actually I did a magazine print when I was when I was 8.5 months pregnant. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it just keeps coming back into my life. I love it. I love it so much. It's a way of expressing your soul.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, look at you.
Oh, you're kidding me. Look at you.
Well, I mean, I've also done modeling, so you know and
I know
and God gave me these gifts. They just take me to different places and open doors that, So it's not anything I had any control over. I mean, I did fix my hair, but I didn't grow it. I didn't chisel the jawline. That's all him. So
yeah, definitely.
I glad I did not start modeling early. 18, I wanted to model, but I mean, the same thing where you're talking about like struggling with perfectionism. The industry would have destroyed me.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I got to a healthy place and God very divinely led me into modeling and into entertainment industry, it is not an easy place to be.
It's not. It's very
comparison is just as real for guys as it is for girls. They just hide it differently. It shows up differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mind games are real.
The body dysmorphia is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I saw one of the guys that I knew who got started early, or around the same time as me, went to New York, was having great success. I mean, he got emaciated. It ate his lunch figuratively and literally. Like mentally, he couldn't handle it. He was depressed. I don't know if I would say suicidal, but like the comparison at high levels, he looked amazing in the South. And like as a physique and healthy male, he looked amazing. And you would think, yes, absolutely, he should be modeling. He is a model. But you get up there or anywhere in any market and you want to book work, right? So you're like, okay, so what do I need to be to make them happy? What size do I need to be? I always straddled between fashion and commercial. And so when I liked to work out a little bit more, the fashion clients were less happy. When I didn't work out, I was less happy, but I could book more fashion work.
Right.
And at some point you just have to say, you know what? I want to like me in my body, and you can do it that way you want.
Yeah.
Like chasing their approval is an exhausting existence.
Yeah. And I can't even imagine, like, it would have been so amazing to have something like this when I was modeling.
Yeah.
I mean, because 100%. They have, I mean, for women specifically, like they have just piling on. I will never forget this photo shoot that I did where they piled on glitter onto my entire face. It took 3 hours to scrub it off.
I've done full body paint. I haven't done like full face.
That was so cool. Oh my gosh.
One of my early ones was a full, wearing a brief and like full body paint. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's so cool. So cool.
I mean, the things that this is our instrument, right, in the entertainment modeling world. And so if we're going to take care of this, that's actually what really propelled a lot of my natural health lifestyle, because you're like, okay, I have to take care of my skin. I have to take care of my body,
Right.
because I need to be in the best shape. Also, you want it to be as easy as possible. So eating like crap and then trying to get into shape for a shoot is really not an existence that can work together.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
but you're right. The ladies, with all the things they put on their skin and all the skincare stuff,
I think that's why, like, I'm so opposed to makeup. Like, unless I'm on a podcast, then I put makeup on, but I don't wear makeup. I always just have my lipstick on, but that's it. I don't put anything else on my skin, because like my body's like, don't do that to me again.
Yeah. I mean, the skin's our biggest organ. And so
Yeah.
the things that we put on it absorb into our body. So it makes sense. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been enjoying washing my face in this.
Yes.
And it's so smoothing. It
Yeah.
actually makes me feel a little bit like the bentonite clay mask that I like to do. That's really like clarifying and really smooth. Like I feel like my skin's hydrated. And this is far easier. I just pour it in a bowl and then I just rinse my face in it. So
you're gonna laugh at what I do.
Okay.
I take paper towel pieces and I soak them and I stick them on my face like my children. I have 2 little girls, 6 and 8. And I forgot that I had it on my face, and I was walking around and they came around and they're like, Mommy! I just had all these paper towel things stuck to my face.
Oh my gosh.
So once it dries up in about 5 minutes, and then you just take another one, dip it, put it on your face, but it sticks there. Like, it's amazing.
That's
I
a
love
great
it.
idea, because I haven't figured out how to keep it on the skin longer, except to just put my face underneath the water.
Yeah, exactly. And even like I have issues with eczema, so I do that for my arms too. I soak like an entire paper towel and just set it there, and it's so cooling immediately. It's like when you said that you did the recovery frequency with the 6 minute, and then you put it on your face and you just felt like so relaxed. That's what it did for my arm, and it was just incredible when I had that breakout. Yeah,
when I spend too much time staring at screens, my eyes will tell me that I've had not enough sunlight time. And in the winter, it's harder to get by. Normally during the rest of the year, I'm a sun baby.
Yes.
I think because I grew up as a swimmer, my body's used to a high level of sun exposure, and my batteries get really rejuvenated, recharged that way.
Yeah.
But the recovery 6 minute cycle, I will run that, and then I'll just wash my eyes, and it's so soothing, and it's really nice because it's just water, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I dump this on my head. I dump it in my hair. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do too. I haven't been as faithful with the hair. Just my things have been moving, but I do, when I want to do the hair, I'll attach the larger bottle to the base.
Yep.
And then I'll hydrogenate that, and then I'll put it in the shower. And then at the last, I'll rinse my head, hair, and scalp with that.
Yeah. I have a fun, so like, I didn't even think about it. Like, I love taking hot showers, and Dr. Michelle is going to be like to me, but then I had the hydrogen water waiting for me, and I forgot that it was cold. I totally forgot, and I was ready to put it on my head, and I dumped it on, and I was like, ah! So cold. Dr. Michelle always tells me to take cold showers, so she's going to yell at me.
Well, one of the things, so my pursuit of hydrogen had to do, well, a couple of things. One, it was divinely led, but then when I met Nuno and his whole seer gift, he literally like read my biology, and he was like, this. He listed off the things I already knew were going on in my biology. And one of them was my thyroid. And I'm learning that cold isn't necessarily beneficial when you're dealing with thyroid things. So I'm steering away from that. But I do feel like I noticed that my hormones are balancing better.
Awesome.
Which is huge. My digestion has improved. Those were both things he had pointed out. I can tell I'm more hydrated. When I first started, I was like craving this. I was like, could not get enough. It's like, clearly there's something that my body wants, because I never really thirst for water. Like, I know that I need to drink it, so I do. But this was different. It was like, oh no, there's something here that my body is wanting.
Yes.
So I got past that, but now it's I can see the stability that's really setting in, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because that's actually my daughter, my oldest daughter, Victoria, who's 8. She hates water. Like, it's usually like a bribe to get her to drink water. Like, she's even come home with like dehydration symptoms from school and things like that. And so one morning she ate her breakfast, and I had my water, and I was like, all right, I just want you to sip it. And she's like, I don't want to sip. I'm like, just one sip, please, just one sip. So I made her like this much.
Yeah.
And she slammed the entire thing, and she looked at me and she's like, Mom, why don't you tell me this tastes like candy? Like, give me more.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I activated more and she drank it immediately. Like she was every single morning, she has her magic water. I activate it for school. When she gets home from school, Mom, where's my magic water? She won't go to bed without magic water now. Like
Okay.
she's getting so hydrated and it does not taste like candy, but her
Yeah.
body is finally getting the hydration it's been desiring. And
That's
it's
huge.
it's the cutest thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's amazing for a kid to move away or to be able to move away from all of these sugary drinks that they
Yes.
are inundated
Well,
with
I
advertisements
don't do that
for.
in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good for them, but the
Yeah.
culture puts it in front of them constantly. So for her
Oh, I
brain
know.
to register this really good water is registering as candy and I want it, that's a win for a parent.
And okay, this was the coolest thing. The other day she came home and she's like, I don't remember the boy's name, but she was like, so and so wants to know what magic water is. And I was like, well, just tell him that it's like a healing water. She's like, no, I want to know how to explain it. So I actually had to write down what molecular
Oh,
hydrogen water is, like for a child to understand. And she brought it to school and she explained it to her friends. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm creating a monster. Like, this is hilarious.
no, you're creating a trend and a new wave.
I know.
What,
I know.
how old is he?
She's 8.
Okay.
My 6-year-old
sending-
drinks magic water as well. We call it magic
Are you
water.
sending her to school with a bottle
Yes.
of her
They
own?
each
Okay.
have, they each have their water bottles.
Yeah.
And like when they're in basketball and gymnastics, so then the bottles are bigger. So then they have every time that they have water, they have magic water essentially.
Yep. No, it's
Yeah.
so great.
Biggest
Yesterday
blessing.
was the first time since they're athletes made me think I just started getting back into working out after too long. We won't embarrass myself by saying
It's okay.
how
You know
long.
what? I haven't worked out in a year and I'm doing my first Pure Bar tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So I was really expecting, and I know what body soreness is like when you use muscles you haven't used in far too long.
yes.
And I've got a little bit of soreness, but usually it's like that second day debilitating because I was doing things that were probably pushing it a little hard for my first day back with some of these muscle groups.
Yeah.
So the recovery really is very healing in terms of muscle recovery. And I'd heard that and I knew the science said that, but
Yeah.
it's nice to actually experience it in your own body.
I can't wait to experience that. I mean, before my car accident, I loved working out. I worked out 2 hours a day. I joined a professional dance company when I was 12. I danced 6 hours every single day. I wasn't a pro athlete, but I essentially was.
Yeah.
So that was my life. So I went from that to being stuck on a couch for years and years and years and years. So I can't wait to get back into it.
Well, and you had a really compelling story the other day you shared about one of the lingering impacts of your car accident, right?
Yes. So unfortunately, the trauma from my car accident was so severe that it triggered a heart condition in my DNA. And it's neurocardiogenic syncope syndrome. It's 80% nerves, 20% heart. And what normally happens when I have an episode, and I mean, I was having these episodes 3 to 5 times a week for years and years and years and years. And then I haven't had an episode for about a year. And then the other day I did have an episode. So normally what happens is my lips and my cheeks get numb. I have a couple minutes, 2 to 5 minutes before I sink to the floor. So when you get dizzy, that's kind of the first indication and the lips and the cheeks. But then I fall to the floor and I have no energy. Like I can't even lift a pinky. I can't even move my lips. Like the energy is just completely gone. And then if people start to talk to me, it's kind of like that Charlie Brown thing. Like I can't understand what they're saying. And I might try to speak. I've heard that I've tried to speak during these episodes and it sounds like I'm slurring and that I can't put my words together.
Yeah, sure.
But while I'm on the floor, I actually have a panic attack on top of that. And then because of my car accident, I had 7 tears in my rhomboid muscle, 2 tears in my lower lat, 3 fractured ribs, cervical spine strain, all this stuff. And so I actually it's almost like a trauma response remembering in my body. So my chest actually twists up and I feel the pain again. And then it feels like I'm having a heart attack. So that is normally what happens. So I got home from the airport. I went to Sedona for this beautiful spiritual retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home from the airport and I was just like really, really exhausted. I'm an energy healer. So sometimes I just don't have a choice. You know, if people need to be healed, they get healed. And I sat on the couch and I started feeling the episode coming. And I told my husband and he went and got the water. I was like, go get my bottle. And I was so weak. The thing is, thankfully, I was on the couch instead of on the ground. So it helped me a little bit, but I was so weak that I was like shaking like this. Like I could not. And the thing is, it was in the afternoon. So I knew it was a 6 minute, not a 3 minute. So I was like, it's okay. This is supposed to happen. I need 6 minutes. So I did the 6 minute with recovery. And I was like shaking like this. And I was like trying to get it to my lip. Within 5 minutes, I went from being completely not being able to function, pretty much like trying to function, to being able to sit up straight and be okay. But I still wasn't okay. I knew I wasn't okay to walk yet. I needed to wait. Within 15 minutes, I was walking and I was fine. And I was able to function the rest of the night. So what's amazing with that is like the repercussions from my episodes are usually the hardest, because the next morning I'll wake up with a throbbing headache that lasts like 2 to 3 days, with like the or the migraine that actually has like the occipital aspect of it, and the nausea and all those things. And then that migraine usually triggers another heart episode, and it just continues. I mean, for years and years, 16 years, I had this cyclical thing in my life.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah, I mean, and with the simplicity of water, you can cut that off so early.
Yeah.
You know, and with what you've learned about hydrogen, maybe even be undoing some of the residual.
Well, what was so fascinating, and I didn't realize it until Dr. Tyler and Dr. Michelle were talking about it the other day, because the very first thing I felt in my body, it was in my calves. It was in my legs.
Oh.
So I felt energy and I felt like I was feeling better, but I actually felt my cells vibrating in my legs. And so that's why when people have like POTS and things like that, they wear compression socks, because it's actually the circulation from the legs that first pumps up. So they were talking about that. And so when they were talking about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's just absolute proof of how molecular hydrogen is an intelligent selective antioxidant, and knew exactly to go down to my legs first. Like it came in. It's so small that it's able to permeate through everything. And it went and analyzed my body and realized, go to her legs and support her and boost her circulation from there. Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, that is the one quality about hydrogen that is truly stunning and surprising. Like, I love that the body can utilize it, but that it decides where it's needed most is so fascinating.
And I have actually another cute little story about that, because so my husband's 6'3" and he's athletic. And sometimes when he drinks, he gets a little clumsy, and he's torn off the same toenail 3 times. So I have a toenail that hasn't grown for 3 years. So I was, drinking my molecular hydrogen from the prototype bottle. This was from June to November or so.
Okay.
And, I drank it for energy. I drank it for different things when I had like a viral infection in my body or whatever it was, right? I never thought it was going to touch that. And then one day I looked down and I was like, I have a toenail. Like, this is insane. This is insane. How did that happen? I mean, yeah. So it goes to where your body needs it. Like,
I tell you, I mean, all the folks missing toenails are super excited right now.
I'm telling you, like my kids, when we're at the pool, like they would bring their friends over. Look at my mom's stub toe. Look at my mom's stub. Like, it was so embarrassing. And I'm like, yay.
That's huge. I mean, those little things that we just sort of resign ourselves as, oh, this is just the way it is. Or like a condition like you've had that, like, all right, I may have to live with this the rest of my life.
Yeah.
No, there are new solutions that we didn't know about that are so simple. I mean, the smallest molecule, the most prevalent molecule in the universe, and water, biggest molecular quantity in our bodies, like the simplicity of hydrogen water and its profound variety of impacts is really shocking.
It's incredible.
And that it's so largely unknown is also shocking.
Yes. And I mean, as soon as it comes into the body, the very first thing that it does, right, it analyzes and it acts as a conductor in the body, but it has the ability to diffuse through the cell membrane into the cell and work with the organelle, work with the mitochondria. So now we're talking about increasing your chemical energy. So we're talking about increasing all energy for every function in the body.
Yeah, because every cell operates that way. Every cell has a mitochondria. So every cell that operates better will operate better at what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
And that's,
it's incredible. Yeah, don't even get me started on the NRF2 pathway.
Yeah, that one I don't understand. I hear that phrase thrown and I'm like, I'm going to need a layman's breakdown.
So it regulates the NRF2 pathway. Pretty much the NRF2 pathway is responsible for the production of over 200 protective proteins.
Okay.
So when we're talking about protective, we're talking about immune system. We're talking about protecting your cells from oxidative stress and free radicals and things like that. Okay. So molecular hydrogen has the ability to regulate production of over 200 proteins, essentially, that are specifically focused on protecting your body, protecting your cells.
Great. We all need that because Lord knows people are way too antibiotic dependent, drug dependent. You know, they get sick with every wind that blows, with anything. Yeah. So we need protective proteins operating at full capacity, please.
Absolutely. Yes.
But what I'm really excited about is the DNA RNA piece, like that it protects the telomeres, right? And as the telomeres decay or erode, right, they shrink our life.
Yeah, it affects our chromosomes. So our chromosomes, every single time that there's a cellular division, every single time in our body, it's going to deteriorate our chromosomes a little bit. So the telomeres are kind of like the protective cap on a shoestring that prevent the shoestring from straying.
Unraveling,
unraveling. There you go. Thank you. And so that is actually the aspect that is protecting our chromosomes from breaking down so much every single time that our cell divides. So they have linked the length of the telomeres and the strength of the telomeres to aging, to the aging process.
Absolutely.
And when the chromosomes break apart, sometimes when they come back together, they create a new gene expression. That new gene expression could lead to a mutation that could then lead to something very dangerous and that we don't want in the body. So it's very, very important to have strong and lengthened telomeres. What's so fascinating is with this specific device, there's actually two aspects that help the telomeres, because it's the hydrogen-rich water that holds the molecular hydrogen dissolved therapeutic levels gas in the water. But then it's also the life force energy that's in the lumivitae frequency. Because when we twist off the cap, you can put it onto raw fruits and vegetables, and you can bring the life force energy back to that fruit or vegetable as if it was just plucked from the source. Eating food that is directly plucked from the source is a way to lengthen and strengthen your telomeres. So you now have two ways of attack to strengthen your telomeres in drinking from this device.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've been also using it on my plants.
Ooh,
I'm really concerned myself with a green thumb, but I'm like, hey, let's help them out.
Yeah. Well, somebody from our community recently did like that whole 14-day thing with the wheatgrass. It's amazing. The difference.
It was amazing. I have a friend who's super gardener, and I was like, oh yeah, you're going to want to see this. So I sent it over, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Awesome. That's so cool.
I mean, we're upregulating their cells as well. I mean, giving them what they should have always had. Because when water is deficient, everything suffers. The world needs water.
Absolutely.
Plants, every living thing needs water. So when there is no life any longer in our water, every living thing is operating at a diminished capacity. So animals and plants and our bodies all are suffering from the lack of living water. And that's what's amazing about this, because for those who haven't heard, like there's the magnetic field of the earth specifically calibrated in the base. And then of the 3 programs you can run in the lid to inform your water, one of them is the sunlight frequency, what we call lumivitae. And that's giving the band of sunlight that triggers photosynthesis in plants. And so that's what plants are naturally supposed to have, is living water that's been in an environment that's pure, that is alive. And then the hydrogen is its own powerful upregulator.
Yeah, it's a combination of all 3 that makes this, like, I mean, scientists that have been working for 15 years are blown away at what we're seeing. When they did the live blood analysis, I mean, all of our jaws were on the ground. We were just like, what did we just witness? Are you kidding me?
Like, every single person was like,
we were all like, we're chugging this.
No, it's stunning. Because I did a scan on my body with a friend who has some technology last year. Yeah, it had to be last year. And one of the things that came up as a weak point in my physiology was my blood. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. How do you have weak blood? Like, it flows, it does its thing. So for me, I didn't even know that was something that this would benefit, but seeing the live demonstration of instantly my blood is benefiting and circulating better. I mean, I'd seen scans indicate my circulation was low, but I'd never would have thought that my blood was a problem. And to see how quickly, instantaneously, 30 seconds, the blood shows instant hydration and movement that wasn't there before is incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Life is in the blood.
Coagulated, sticky blood to like cells that were racing. They were just,
Yeah.
and what was so beautiful and what we talked about at the very beginning is like that divine essence that gets to come into our body. Like I love how Dr. Michelle talks about when our cells are at optimal health, then that divine consciousness is able to come into our cells.
Yeah.
And we actually saw that on the before and after. We saw the light on the edge of the cell.
Yeah.
Like it was so profound. And we were just like, oh my gosh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it just in a ministry capacity when somebody is in a place that they're unhealthy, dealing with those spiritual and emotional blocks in their life are harder and slower.
Yep.
And we are an interconnected being, you know, you can't really isolate one from the other. The spirit was designed to express itself through the body. So if the body's clogged or blocked or hindered in any way, that expression is diminished.
Yeah,
off
exactly.
The board. Doesn't matter.
I work specifically with life force energy with 5-element theory. Like, you know, with really knowing where the life force energy actually goes in the body, and our goo, which is our life force energy from our food, and the importance of having such high potency of life force energy in our food as we bring it in. It's so important because every single organ has a physiological function, but it also has a psycho-spiritual function. Our stomach and spleen are responsible for our manifestation abilities, manifesting our true life's path. Like we were saying, our heart, so the heart, the small intestine, the triple burner, and the pericardium, they're connected to knowing your true authentic self and vibrating that self in the world. Your lung and large intestine are connecting to the preciousness of the moment and knowing exactly what's for you, not for you, being able to let go and move on. Like I could go on, but having this life force energy in us to stimulate every single organ so that not only can it support us physically, but psycho-spiritually can completely transform your life in every single way. Like it's so profound.
It is. I'm seeing my mom, she's been dealing with myriad physical issues, but one of the things, while some of those are taking some time to work themselves out, she said, I'm sleeping better for the first time. And I can't even tell you how many years. And the body's ability to heal while sleeping is huge. And when you can't sleep or aren't sleeping, the issues you're dealing with just stay, inflamed and prolonged. So, I'm so excited for her. I mean, she's dealing with other things but sleep, just getting quality sleep. I mean, I've heard that story from multiple people that like they're sleeping better. Some people slept for the first time, in years. They got a full night's sleep just after their first day of drinking this. So,
and our liver does over 500 things while we sleep. So if we don't get adequate sleep, our liver's not able to do what it needs to do. So that is also just one of those aspects that it's good to know that. It's good to like realize like, okay, I need adequate sleep so that I can have my body supported in the way that I need to through my liver.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm truly excited to continue to hear these incredible stories because as we said earlier about light of life, like our heart is to see humanity healed and set free, and through that health and abundance, right? Like the company wants to bring prosperity to people in their bodies and in their bank accounts. And but the stories where people have been plagued with something and they felt like they had no solution, like we've changed lives. That life is forever changed and will never be the same. Regardless of what happens with their bank account, they are now equipped to live a more full life than they were able to before. And that you can't put a price on.
And honestly, as a mom of two, having this beautiful device to support me in those emergency situations, to support me, I mean, that is priceless. That's absolutely priceless. I will never forget my daughter. She is severely allergic to cats, dogs, dust, mold, pollen, everything. And she had severe reaction to a dog. And like when we left the establishment that the dog was present at, as soon as she got in the car, she threw up for 15 minutes. When she was done with throwing up, because I knew that as she was actively happening, that I couldn't give her the water because she would just throw it right up. So when she was done, I activated the water and gave it to her. So that calmed her down. When she got home, I gave her some more water and she fell asleep. Middle of the night, she woke up and she was coughing up a lung. She was wheezing. I saw the hives. I looked it up and I did not know that you could actually go into anaphylaxis from a dog allergy. I did not realize that the proteins from the dog could be that dangerous. So I woke up my husband and I was like, we need to go. We need to call 911. Like, this is not okay. I know I can energetically feel she's not okay. And immediately the the word water came into my being. And I was just like, okay. I was like, okay, activated the water. She drank it. Within 3 minutes, she was asleep. Now, I'm not saying don't use an EpiPen and don't have other things present, but like, thank God that I had this for her.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just the most beautiful tool for a mother, for any parent to have to support their children and to support themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's profoundly simple. It's water. It's living water. It's got molecular hydrogen that can literally penetrate every cell, every tissue, every part of the body.
Yes.
So anywhere that it's needed, it can be applied, and you can't overdose on it. So you don't have to worry about like monitoring dosages or side effects or all the things that you have to worry about when you involve yourself in some sort of pharmacology or drug or pill or pen or whatever.
Right.
Like the simplicity of it is one of the beauties, besides just the actual elegance of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know, it's beautiful. It's so luxurious. It's just, it was like made for us.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's really beautiful to see it run. I know everybody was excited about the gold, but I was very committed to the anthracite.
I got both.
Well, I mean, I have both as well.
I know you do too. Yeah, I know.
But I prefer, I don't know, I just like the simple elegance of the gray. I mean, I'm a little bit of like a minimalist. I wear a lot of black. I travel, you know, the modeling entertainment industry, you know.
I know. Can they see it? Can you see the bubbles?
I can see the LV light.
Oh,
you run an LV?
I have the bubbles going, and then I have green.
Yeah, mine's happening.
Okay.
I like the purple lately. I've been very, very on a purple vibe. Working on that
purple
crown
spiritual
chakra.
transformation.
Yeah. You know, unlocking all the things that we can.
Absolutely. I know. It's just incredible. And the fact that like
into the world.
What?
Bring my fullest expression to the world.
Absolutely. Yes. And the fact that, I mean, Nuno Nina's heart and soul and genius went into this. And I love that he used this with his patients.
Yep.
Before it came to the world. This is not a product that was developed to make profit.
Correct.
This is
He said I created what my patients needed.
Yeah.
And then we brought it to the world. This was not a like, oh, this is trendy right now, so we're going to ride this wave. No, this was created because this is the purest, best solution for what his patients needed. Absolutely. And that's when you know you can trust something, because the motivation was truly to help, not to profit.
Yes. And he knew the importance, because molecular hydrogen is the smallest molecule there is, and it can permeate through and diffuse through the cell membrane. What's interesting is actually it's almost like the water is on the back of the molecular hydrogen. The water gets into the cell through the ability of the molecular hydrogen's ability to diffuse into the cell. So he knew, because of that, he knew the importance of that water being so pure and so clean, because the electrolysis process is normally very dirty, creates a lot of byproducts. And, you know, there's a lot of things out there that companies don't care. They just create it and they market it and they're like, there you go, put it into your body. It's fine. He knew the importance of every single drop in this device needs to be pure and clean, and it needs to hold therapeutic levels of molecular hydrogen. He knew the importance of that. And he put 15 years of research and development into this device. To make sure that everybody gets access to that. And that is priceless.
It is. I mean, and that's what I appreciate, I think, about holistic practitioners, because their recommendations, like I knew somebody, not like Nuno, but of that same mindset, who he would never recommend anything to a patient who had even one downside. Unless it's all good for your body, he would not endorse it. He would not recommend it. And that's somebody who's really looking out for the very best for their patients. And so their recommendations really carry weight. And that's, you know, why we're benefiting so richly, because we're not worrying about some toxicity coming into our bodies. We're not worrying about some byproduct that, you know, shouldn't be in our body.
No.
And I'm done with the alkaline water. I didn't realize till all of this came to light that part of my digestive issues were the fact that I had been focused on alkaline water for so long.
Okay.
And then all these holistic practitioners were like, oh yeah, no, that's the first thing we have all of our people stop doing, is because we can list off all the issues, and as soon as they stop that, these things go away.
See, what's so interesting is my body actually won't allow me to be connected to something that's bad for me. I have bought 3 alkaline bottles and they all broke on me in the past. I'm telling you. Yeah. And then things that I might think are perfect for me that I've used for a while, they will just break and continue to break if I'm done with it. So.
Well, I guess I need to work on my relationship with my body, because my alkaline stuff did not break.
I'd say it's one of the new spiritual abilities. Like my body breaks things. It's not allowed.
Great. Great. I will add that to the list of things to hopefully see hydrogen help me with.
I love it. Oh my gosh, it's
So
amazing.
you're working on a course that's going to be coming out in 6 months, right?
Yes, hopefully. Yeah. So it's Philosopher's Stone is really a deep dive into balancing, fully balancing and alchemizing your element with your five spirit within five element theory.
Okay.
And so it's about fully balancing and alchemizing the entire elemental journey. And right now there is a Philosopher's Stone in place. And so mine is going to be centered around unconditional love that goes into authentic self that then helps you step into infinite reality. So
Great. Love
it's going to
it.
be epic.
And for people who want to connect with you around that, how and where would they do that?
Instagram is the best place to find me. Just at Sparkle W Nicole right there. Yeah.
Right there.
And I love just adding sparkle into the world and helping motivate
Agreed.
people to stepping into higher levels of being. And
Yes.
you'll find a lot of just like motivational ass kicking sparkle on my page.
Well, I was actually, there was a friend of mine who really was passionate about that word sparkle for a while. And it was sort of a buzz in a little bit of our community because there's just a feeling of play about it. There's a feeling of lightness and fun and expression and beauty. And, there's an elegant dress and then there's a sparkle dress and, they just show up differently. Right.
Yes. I'm
And
always sparkle head to toe, like always. I have sparkle on my jeans, like crystals all up my jeans right now.
I'm not mad at it. I love it. They don't seem to endorse that as much for guys. But you give me an occasion and I love to have fun with clothes.
Yeah.
I'll play around, but I think everybody has a sparkle. And even though men get, all macho, whatever about the word, it's about the way your light shows up in the world. And it's,
it's your unique
lifting
genius.
people. Yeah. It's lifting people's spirits. Life isn't supposed to be hard and heavy. And we do, I think, tap into our best genius when we are at play.
Yeah.
I heard a beautiful teaching recently. And it was like when our economies and our world systems aren't based on scarcity and lack, what would motivate somebody to do something?
Yeah.
And when you aren't doing something because you don't have something that you want, then the only reason you'd be motivated to do something is simply for joy, because you delight in it, because your heart delights in doing that thing, whatever that is.
Yes.
And then
it will be giving. It'll be giving from unconditional love.
Yes.
Everything will be from a place of unconditional love.
Yes. And there's an ease and flow and beauty and magnetism to that as well. Like people are drawn to that.
As a wealth alchemy practitioner, I actually help people come to like worthiness and deserving around wealth and abundance and getting rid of lack and scarcity and discovering the underlying patterns and clearing that and all that stuff. And I'm very passionate about people recognizing that they're worthy and deserving of everything they desire in life just for being. There's nothing that they have to do. There's nothing that they have to step into. It's just for existing, for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Those are such awful things to see people burdened beneath.
I know.
Because when you really see the value in people and they have trouble seeing it, that's where I become what I call an aggressive encourager.
Okay.
I mean, I'm naturally an encourager at heart. And so when I see the calling,
tough love.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
You may not go to fight for your heart, but I will.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I'm like, you know what? Love is the most powerful force there is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not so sweet.
Right. Its motivation is love, but it isn't weak.
Right.
Yeah. Right. No, when I was a modeling coach, I was a talent scout and coach for a number of years. When I was a modeling coach and talent scout, I would be an aggressive encourager because insecurity runs rampant, not just in entertainment, everywhere. But you'd see these incredibly talented people and they would be weighted down and burdened beneath insecurity or uncertainty or fear or whatever. And I was like, no, we are not playing around with that. And I would go after those lies.
I love that.
We have to just do that for people's hearts to see them set free and walk in their fullness. And we benefit when they do. All of us, it's not a net loss or whatever gain system. We all win. When somebody's shining brightly, we get to do the same in our own genius.
Yes, absolutely. And we're also interconnected with nature, with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. We raise each other up as we raise.
What else is on your heart, if anything, that you would love to share with all the people thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. Thank you for being here and enjoying our sparkly chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what's on your, anything else you want to say about what you're doing in the world and what Lumivitae is doing in the world?
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the beautiful things that I want to bring some light to is the beautiful connections that this creates, right? It's like we're building a beautiful friendship through this device.
Yep.
And every single time that somebody from lumivitae reaches out to you, it's because they see something in you and they want to offer you the gift of what this can bring into your life. Like it is truly going to shift and change the trajectory of humanity and health. And it is a hydrogen revolution.
It is.
And so anytime somebody approaches you about it or mentions it, like that is them offering you a gift.
Yep.
Because it's been such a gift in our lives.
100%.
So.
And I told God when he directed me toward this, I said, I'm not doing this alone. I'm done with the lone ranger living. If you want me to be involved with this, then this needs to be a community thing. And our community is global and it's beautifully heart motivated, kind, generosity, light motivated people in the world. And we can't have enough of that. So just being around people who live life that way is elevating. Yes. I mean, not to mention, this is going to benefit your body, period.
Okay.
But the community can benefit your life. And I agree. The people I've been enjoying meeting are incredible. So, and you are definitely one of them.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I'm so grateful that I've met you. I mean, okay. So the second I saw you on the Zoom, the very first Zoom we were on, I was just like, who is that? Like your energy was just like, that's a soul brother. Where is he? Where has he been all my life? Like,
Yep. So, I mean, you're right. You just know. You do. And we didn't even know all these things that we have in common, which is so fun.
I know.
I don't know how old you were, but we might have been around the same age when we were going through college.
I'm 42.
Oh, well, look at you. Throw that out there.
I'm proud of being 42.
No, that's great. I mean, I'm eternal, so I don't really attach myself to
so we'll talk about it later.
But in our industry, I'm only as old as the client needs me to be. So I asked them how old I am. How old am I to you?
Yeah.
Because, in our industry, that's the only one that matters.
That is true.
Yes. If you were shown this video, if you were invited to Lumivitae by somebody, that is the only way to get one of these bottles. And we have other things coming this year. So stay tuned.
So exciting.
They will only be sold through affiliates. So whoever is supporting you and caring about your life and share this with you, go back to that person. And if we are those people, then reach out to us. We will absolutely help you and take care of you and get you connected to whatever's happening in the company and in the world at that time. But we bless you for your time. We appreciate that you were here and that you cared to listen. We're just two people in the world doing our thing and sharing it with people and inviting you to join us. This is going to be an ongoing conversation about a great many things, not just hydrogen and water, but life and light in the world. So stay tuned for future episodes. Nicole, thank you for just
absolutely. I'm so grateful and I'm honored to be the first guest. Thank you so much.
The first, the OG. You never have another first. So no, I've enjoyed this so much. I knew were going to be a delight, and you proved every bit accurate. But so brilliant, y'all. I mean, and I say this all the time, especially as a modeling coach. I was like, you can be pretty and smart. And hello, she's living it proof right there. You can be a model and have a brain, even though the industry doesn't usually care that we have brains.
I know they don't.
We can coexist being models and smart.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. And I had to get over that whole saying out loud that I'm like a professional model, because that was a whole hang up thing for years as well. But I was like,
because then people assume that you don't have a brain and they assume that you are stuck up and they treat you in a whole different way.
All the assumptions.
Yeah, I know.
It's the thing. But it was like when the first year that I made all of my income from modeling, I was like, okay, now I can officially say I'm a professional model, and I need to stop being embarrassed about it, because I didn't make it this way. So why am I embarrassed that God did? That was me.
It's a blessing from God.
Yeah. I was me.
You can deliver your message, which is your soul and your light and your genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beauty and brains and hydrogen.
Woo! There we go.
All right. Well, we will be talking more soon. Have a beautiful day. Continue to sparkle. And again, thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
Lots of love.
I'm so grateful.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.